Bayern Munich are heading in a new direction. They've tied Hansi Flick down to a full-time contract. Thiago and Alphonso Davies have followed, but unfortunately, this means 1 or 2 or 5 players might be left behind. Today, I'm going to bring you these 5 players who should be leaving Bayern Munich in the summer. First off, and a rather obvious one, is Jerome Boateng. I don't quite think I've ever seen a defender age so much, not physically, but as a footballer, in such a short space of time. It seems like ever since that disastrous World Cup for Germany, Boateng has literally just gone all the way downhill. Having said that though, the same was said about Mats Hummels, and since he moved to Dortmund, he's actually had a pretty good season, so maybe Boateng should follow suit. I mean, at Bayern Munich, he's been used sparingly this season. David Alaba and Benjamin Pavard have proved brilliant centre-back partnership, even though it may not be their best position. And the same thing also goes to Lucas Hernandez, who hasn't even had a chance to make his impact on the Bayern Munich squad since his move last summer. And on top of all of this, Niklas Süle's been out for the whole season with an injury, so when he comes back, Boateng's going to have a hell of a job on his hands to fit into the centre-back spot. And just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, Bayern Munich are also reportedly looking at Dayot Upamecano from RB Leipzig as well. This could be 5 other potential centre-halves he has to compete with, and I just don't think he's going to do it. At age 31, he's still got something to offer other clubs, so he should probably go and get another big move. I'm sure there's someone out there who's willing to take him on, just maybe not to pay those extraordinary wages. Next up, and it's Manuel Neuer. I know this is completely unthinkable to even suggest that the German great will be leaving Bayern Munich after so many years at the club, but there is big discussion around his contract at the moment. So apparently, because of his age, he's 34 at the moment, Bayern don't want to offer him such a long-term deal. His current deal runs out next summer, in the summer of 2021, and they want to extend it maybe by another year or 2. For some reason, Neuer's got it in his head that he can get a deal up to 2025. In some cases, I kind of agree, because I'm like, yeah, he's been so loyal to them, he's done so well for them, he's kind of earned their, not respect, but earned their trust in giving him such a long-term deal. On the flip side of things, I don't know any club in the world, maybe apart from Juventus and Gigi Buffon, who will be giving their old goalkeeper a deal until he's 39 years old, 5 years in advance. Like, fair enough with Juve and Buffon, they do it 1 year and then at the end of the year they kind of discuss it and keep him going for another year. But to give Neuer a brand new deal, especially when they're bringing in Alexander Nübel from Schalke, seems really absurd. I mean, at best, Neuer's going to have the next season while Nübel settles in and learns a bit from Neuer. But after that, the former Schalke man, Nübel that is, because they both came from Schalke, is going to be number 1 at Bayern. So Neuer best get a move now. Personally, I think it's rather better for him to look for a move coming off the back of a good season like he's had now, rather than in 1 year's time where who knows what will happen. He might get injured, he might have been replaced halfway through the season, he might age dramatically and be a really poor keeper. Personally, if I was him, why not try something else? He'd fit great in Serie A, I think, somewhere like maybe AC Milan if they lose Gigi Donnarumma. Maybe he could go to Chelsea in the Premier League. There's good alternatives in Spain. I think pretty much any club would take him. Any top club would definitely take him and be able to afford him. Those ones who don't already have a top quality keeper like Ederson or Oblak or ter Stegen, someone like that. Yeah, Manuel Neuer is definitely not the kind of guy to stick around for a fight for first team spot, and so Corentin Tolisso shouldn't be either. Now, this is actually quite an interesting move from Bayern Munich. So they signed him in 2017. It was like 40-odd million, I think. It might have actually been a record transfer at the time. Anyway, they brought in the midfielder from Lyon, and since then, he's had injuries, he's been inconsistent, and he's just not really turned out to be a world-class player, and he's only made 41 appearances in the Bundesliga in 3 seasons. Okay, I know he had a long-term injury, but still, it looks like Bayern aren't really going to trust him moving on into the future. Thiago is the first central midfielder on the team sheet. Regardless of what happens, he is just a level above any other player. Alongside this, there's also Javi Martinez, although we'll get onto him in just a minute. He's maybe not too involved in the first team either. As well as this, a year after signing Tolisso, they brought in Leon Goretzka, who looks like the future of the German midfield as well as Bayern Munich midfield too. You've also then got Joshua Kimmich, who, down to a being a right back, has proved he's a world-class central midfielder as well. There's also Mikhail Kusons, who's currently a young kid looking really promising for Bayern's midfield. And on top of this, when they've got a bit of money to spend, a central midfielder, well, they'll probably always be on the lookout for one just in case. So, with all that said and done, Tolisso's mid-20s. There's definitely going to be a load of clubs who will take him, and he needs to go and find somewhere where he's going to play regular football. The reason he was so good at Lyon, and the reason Bayern bought him in the first place, is because he was an unbelievable midfielder, showing his talents week in, week out. He can't really do that when he's on the bench, getting a few minutes here and there, being rotated in and out of the side. So, talking of midfielders who should leave, and I did just mention there, it's Javi Martinez. Now, this isn't him being forced out of the club or anything, but if Tolisso is struggling to get into the squad, even though he's got definitely a few good years ahead of him, it's going to be even more difficult for 32-year-old Javi Martinez. He's 32 at the end of summer, and by then, I think he should be at a new club. It's not to say that he hasn't got anything to offer to Bayern, but with so many players, especially with Bayern, so many versatile players, like if Javi Martinez thinks, someone's been injured in the centre mid, I'm going to slot right in there, there's probably going to be a right back or a left back or a keeper that's going to be chosen ahead of him. He's given so much to Bayern for the best part of a decade. Treble winner, won absolutely everything, been a really, really, not just a good player, but a good player to have in the squad as well. So I really think he should probably move on, and there's still a really good chance that he can play at the top level. There have been rumours about a return to Athletic Bilbao, and why not? I mean, positionally, he's brilliant and can play in quite a few positions. He's definitely got unbelievable ability, and more than anything, he now, due to the last decade, has incredible experience. Let's not forget he's also a World Cup winner with Spain back in 2010. I think most sides would love to have him in and around the dressing room as well, and certainly those with their younger squad, and I can't really see many teams turning Javi Martinez down. Certainly in that bracket of like Europa League, maybe challenging for the Champions League. I can't see him getting another big move to a top side. So the last one, finally, last but not least, it's Ivan Perisic. Now, you were probably thinking, oh, mate, you're going to go with Coutinho. He's the other one on loan. Coutinho is definitely going to leave. The option to buy from Bayern Munich is like 100 to 120 million or something like that. They're not doing that. No one's spending that much money on Coutinho. He'll be heading back to Barcelona at the end of the season. But with Perisic, it's a rather interesting situation. So this season, he's made 15 appearances in the Bundesliga. Chipped in with a few goals. He's been good where he is needed. But is it actually the best move for his career to stay at Bayern? Apparently there's an option in the loan clause from Inter Milan that can see him move to the Allianz Arena for about 10 million euros. From Bayern's point of view, I get it. 10 million for any player these days is pretty good. Never mind a player with the experience like Ivan Perisic and the quality that he has. He's still a Champions League player despite being in his early 30s. I really should stop saying that because so many good players are in their early 30s. Anyway, back to Perisic. He's a squad player. He knows he's not going to be constantly taking over or fighting for the place of Gnabry and Coman, who are like the young, exciting golden boys who are unbelievable talents. And on top of this, they're going to have a really good squad player for 10 million, like I said. So they're going to do it. On the flip side, Perisic surely can't be happy to just sit on the bench and wait for his opportunity, especially if the long-awaited transfer as Leroy Sané goes through. Then they'll have another person to compete with. He's not going to outlast any of them in terms of age because he's like at least 8, 9, 10 years older than some of them, like Gnabry, Coman and Sané. And, well, he probably owes more to his career. I mean, he missed something like 3 or 4 games in the previous 3 seasons whilst at Inter Milan in the league. So then he's gone from that to playing a bit part player in the squad at Bayern Munich. I mean, if the season continues, he's going to win the league anyway, so he can pretty much tick Germany off. I'm not so sure there'd be a good chance for Perisic to stay. There have been rumours that the likes of Arsenal and United are still in for him. Any move to a top 6 club in England, yeah, it's a pretty good deal for him. So there you have it. 5 players who I think should be leaving Bayern Munich. But of course, you don't have to agree. In fact, you frequently disagree. Let me know in the comment section below all of your thoughts, who you would keep, who you would sell, and who else should be on this list. Whilst you're at it, smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.